It's time for the good, the bad, and the ugly of the NFL draft. Our NFL Insider breaks it down objectively. It'll be interesting. The Manchild Show with Boy Green Digital, live on a Wednesday, starts right now.
Let's go! It's time for the talk to you. 'Cause it's all we're gonna do. And Boy Green is always on the scene. And we're gonna always bring to you live streaming. So get ready. Get ready, 'cause here they come.
All right, welcome aboard, everybody. It's a Wednesday. Manchild Show with Boy Green Digital at MC Show Digital. Don't forget, like the video on your way in. And if you're not already a subscriber, well, what are you waiting for, man? Right there. YouTube.com/at MC Show Digital. Become part of our growing army as we march towards 1,000 subscribers. We're closing in, nearly getting closer to 100, a little more than 100 still to go. So please help us out. Spread the word. Tell your friends, all that kind of jazz, as we appreciate it greatly. And it certainly opens doors to us having, a few more people getting their eyes on this. Sorry there for the repeat music there. All right, here we are on a Wednesday. Obviously, we are post-draft, and so therefore, Paul and I spent a lot of Monday's show kind of talking about the Jets and the Giants in particular, but we didn't spend a lot of time on other teams and just kind of an objective perspective. Obviously, I love everybody that the Giants picked, kind of, sort of. All right, and Paul loves everybody that the Jets picked, kind of, sort of. I think we offered some critiques, but now we can be, dare I say, as I said in the open, a little bit more objective here. We'll bring in a guy who doesn't have any stake in the Giants or the Jets. I don't know. He might be a little Eagle-centric, but we can forgive him for that, I guess. Let's bring him in. It's our NFL Insider, Mr. Matt Lombardo. How are you, Matt?
What's up, Manchild? And hey, by the way, you see the two helmets up there. Those are the two teams that I covered on a daily basis as a beat writer. So I don't want to hear about little Eagle bias any more so than Giant bias. So there are some Giants in the Lombardo background just as much as there is some Philadelphia flavor.
I just know you breathe a little more Pennsylvania air than you do New York air. That's all I'm saying. It's just in the air, Matt. It's just in the air.
By the way,
like you have been for some of our podcasts, it's Philadelphia air. I mean, that's Philadelphia air right there. Elton John once wrote a song, "Philadelphia Freedom." You might be familiar with it. So.
All right, so
the air.
Manchild, where does Matt Lombardo put his work at? What does he do?
Between the hash marks on some stat, of course.
Did you read that off something?
No. I've got it now. I've got it. It's in my mind.
Okay.
So I still do. I still mix up hash marks and hashtags. That is still not completely erased.
Just think about it in the football field. There's no hashtags on the football field. Hash marks.
Get this
football field.
Get this right.
Hash marks. Yeah.
Makes sense. Anyway, welcome aboard, Matt. Good to have you. And like I said, let's go objective here. Obviously, we want to spend some time talking about the two New York teams. So let's start with the Jets, who picked earlier in this draft than the Giants did at number 2. To some people, it was a surprise, although to a lot of talking heads as we got closer and closer to the draft, it wasn't such a surprise. They thought that David Bailey perhaps made more sense to the Jets and their immediate needs. Give me your take on what the Jets did there, and will it turn out to be a mistake, Matt, or did they make the right move?
Yeah, I don't know that you can make a mistake when you're staring down the barrel at the number 1 overall defensive player on most boards in this class and the number 1 pure pass rusher in this class. And clearly, the Jets figured that they needed to inject some explosiveness and some disruptiveness into that pass rush from a pure edge rusher standpoint, which is why David Bailey makes a lot of sense there. He has elite bend off the edge. You saw the production during his college career, and they needed an anchor along that front 7 in a way that Arvell Reese would have been the Swiss Army knife. You could have lined him up off the edge, moved him to the off-ball linebacker spot. But you look at what they have with David Bailey now, he's a pure pass rusher with double-digit sack upside to anchor that defense, anchor that rebuild. I like the pick a lot. I like the Jets draft a lot, honestly. I think it was one of the stronger drafts of the entire league, top to bottom.
I see. I couldn't agree more. Matt
Aren't you there, Boy Green? Like the objectivity.
Yeah. Okay. That sounds pretty nice. Again, I would agree with that sentiment. And apparently, so would basically everyone in the universe. Joel Klatt says it's his favorite draft. Mel Kiper, A. Okay. Anywho, so yeah, let's get to the Giants. Oh boy, man, that must have been real tough. Going from the Jets. Oh wow, one of the greatest drafts. Some people are saying in human history, and then whatever the Giants did, man.
Yeah, I look at what the Giants did, and I think in a lot of ways they closed some of the gap on the NFC East just with their first two picks alone, because the Jets' decision becomes the Giants' biggest gain, where they get Arvell Reese, who is in a pure sense a third pass rusher that you can put alongside Abdul Carter and Brian Burns, but you can move him around. You can put him in the middle of that defense on certain plays. You can send him after the quarterback. You now have, depending on what happens with Kayvon Thibodeau, arguably the most disruptive collection of edge rushers and pass rushers in the sport, and that's going to play a pivotal role in the rest of that defense making some big strides. You come back and you get Francis Mayaluga, the offensive tackle from Miami. You can bookend him with Andrew Thomas. This potentially ends the Evan Neal disaster, the Evan Neal epoch. And I really loved the Colton Hood pick in round 2, because if you're not going to be able to get Caden McDonald because the Houston Texans sniped him from right underneath you, which would have been your seamless plug-and-play Dexter Lawrence replacement, you wind up with a top 10 talent, top 15 talent, one of the best corners in this year's draft at a position that you desperately needed to upgrade. You added pieces at 2 of the 3 levels of the defense early on. Malachi Fields is a possession receiver type, which is kind of a mold of receiver that the Giants hadn't had going into this draft. So you get a piece for Jackson Dart. So just as much as I thought the Jets were one of my favorite drafts in the entire league, I thought the Giants did enough to narrow some of the gap on Philadelphia, on Dallas in the NFC East.
Dare I ask you the question, Matt? Who do you grade higher, the Jets or the Giants, now that it's all said and done?
It's tough. I mean, you're splitting hairs here, but I think you have to go with the Jets just because of the fact that they were able to land 3 first-round picks in this draft. They have 3 more picks coming down the pike in next year's draft. And I wrote about this in my Monday column, 4 Downs, over at Between the Hash Marks. This wasn't just a win for Darren Moogie. This wasn't just resetting the rebuild for the defense with some of the pieces they got on that side of the ball. Arguably, in my opinion, the biggest winner of this draft for anyone across the league, and certainly for the Jets, is whoever the Jets draft at quarterback next year, because you've now set him up with a supporting cast that includes Garrett Wilson, includes Omar Cooper, includes Kenyon Sadiq, 3 dangerous pass catchers, 3 after-the-catch weapons in the open field in the passing game. You might still have Breece Hall, too, and I just love that they kind of picked and chose some defensive pieces along the way in the rest of the draft. So if it's just apples to apples, New York squad versus New York squad, both teams help themselves. But I think if the Jets can build on this and they can take steps in 2026, we're going to look back on this draft as the year that they chose talent over flash, substance over sizzle, and it's going to be the year where they started building some pillars on the foundation that they have in place.
Fair enough.
Look at that from Danger Zone.
Comments. Yeah.
It's okay, Lurch. We can't all have perfect drafts.
And then he says, and then he follows that up with, Lurch will never recover from this. Of course I'll recover. I have no issues with what went on. Matt, let me ask you
from
on
what,
the Giants.
What's the issue on the Giants here? Are people kind of nitpicking Malachi Fields? Is it not being aggressive to go get Caden McDonald? Is it the Cowboys taking Caleb Downs 1 pick before you were going on the clock? What's the issue with what the Giants did? Because I like the Giants draft. I thought they moved the ball forward here.
Yeah, definitely. Well, let me throw this question at you. Obviously, when the Giants were on the clock at 10, and they had already secured Arvell Reese, which no one even thought was possible, the prevailing wind of the fan base, it felt like, and it's because of sexy versus non-sexy. I talked about this on Monday's show. Offensive linemen are just not sexy to pick. They're very, very fundamentally necessary, and oftentimes might be the difference in whether you
Especially
have a good
there.
team or not a good team. I'm a big believer in the trenches. But I think part of it, too, is also trench fatigue, Matt. I'll make up a new word. Trench fatigue here for the New York Football Giants. We've spent so much time in the last 5 to 10 years drafting guys high in the draft
Longer than
for the
that.
trenches, and a couple of them haven't hit, and it's gonna been a disaster for us, and we just having to keep going back to the well, and it gets tiring after a while. Last year, the offensive line at least played respectable football, still not great, but respectable football, and people were just let's not waste another high draft pick. I shouldn't say waste, but let's not use another high draft pick on another guy in the trenches. But the Giants obviously got a guy in the trenches who many thought was the top offensive lineman. I do love that, Matt, but I think it's that Downs was there, and they could have gone Reese Downs and like just had these two pillars in the center and the back of their defense that, you can imagine being together for the next 10 years and just going to Pro Bowls after Pro Bowls after Pro Bowls. And it just isn't as sexy to take the lineman. But maybe in the grand scheme of things, the Giants did the right thing here by being, dare I say, fundamentally sound rather than, spicy.
Well, let's pull back the curtain on my career just a little bit here, right? When I covered the Giants for NJ.com, I left that job to take my first national role during the pandemic. So mid-season in 2020. So we're talking 6 years ago. The last story that I filed at NJ.com was, why did it take the Giants? Why is it taking the Giants a decade to build an offensive line? Because that team did not have a competent offensive line dating back to 2011 after that season when they won the Super Bowl. And this was 6 years ago having that conversation. And I agree that the offensive line made incremental progress last season. But if you're betting your franchise on Jackson Dart and him rapidly developing and taking major strides towards becoming a franchise quarterback, you need to go beyond incremental progress and getting incrementally better along the offensive line. Francis Maioga, as a bookend tackle to Andrew Thomas, you're now set for 3 to 5 years with two bookends, assuming that he is the player that his scouting report and his college film showed you that he could be at the NFL level. So I have no issues and no complaints. Would I have loved Caleb Downs if I'm the Giants? Absolutely. I had him as the number 2 defensive player on my board, number 1 safety overall. It's like a wrecking ball attached to a jet engine, the way that he plays back there. It would have been a great pick. But I think that if you're being smart about this and you're building this the right way around a young quarterback, you got to fix the offensive line. They got an elite edge rusher. They might have gotten an elite offensive tackle. So I'm fine with what they did at the top.
Yeah, to me, man, it was just practical. It was a practical decision versus, again, a spicy decision. But, and then I think it's worse for Giants fans that Dallas moves up from 12 to 11, comes up right behind them, and grabs Downs before somebody outside of the division can get him. So now, not only are the Giants fans, oh, we didn't take the spicy guy, but now we're going to see him twice a year. And if he's knocking our receivers all over the yard, we're going to be like, oh, God, did we do this again? Didn't we mess up the whole Micah Parsons things bad enough, that now we're going to mess up, another surefire defensive player that we supposedly had on our radar, and we didn't pick him and we let him slip to the Cowboys. So it's a little of that, I think, that the fan base is still kind of rumbling from. But I think as it's settled here, I mean, when, we've had a few days to digest this, Paul and I to talk about it and vent a little bit, I think I'm starting to see it more and more clearly that I think the Giants did the right thing here. I think that when you're talking about long-term future, as you mentioned, having a quarterback that you think is going to be your franchise, you have to do things immediately to make things better for that quarterback. And this was definitely one of the answers. Period. I'm done with my rant. Okay. Yeah, so no question. I wasn't expecting you to do anything there.
I just love that for Matt.
Right, next question. Go ahead, Paul.
Okay. I know we're going to talk plenty of Jets Giants and get the New York stuff in here, which is great. But Matt, part of your job is covering the overall league. And I'll tell you, at the draft, one of the ones that had our jaws on the floor was the Rams 13th overall going Ty Simpson, because, the Rams seem like a win now team. Matthew Stafford is the reigning league MVP, for God's sakes. Like, it just seems like they traded for Trent McDuffie, giving up their original first round pick. Like, it seemed like they were all in on that. So any Ty Simpson stuff may have still been alive if they still had that late first round pick. Maybe that something could have happened. When they had 13, there's not a lot of people that had it on their bingo card. They do it. And Ty Simpson's secret meetings and all kinds of things. And Sean McVay's initial reaction, which seemed to say he wasn't on board, but he was on board. He was just respecting Matthew Stafford. What the hell happened here with this pick? Because to me, that was one of the big shocks of the draft.
It's definitely one of the biggest shocks of the draft. And if you talk to people afterwards, as I did, I spoke to an offensive coach who really questioned the selection just based on the fact that Ty Simpson only made 15 college starts. This coach said to me, how many quarterbacks succeed with just 1 year of starting experience? There aren't many. And you can certainly look at the Cam Newtons. You can certainly look at a couple of outliers along the way, but there are just far more Anthony Richardsons than there are guys who had successful collegiate careers with limited starts. But from a strategic standpoint, and maybe I'm an outlier with this opinion, but I look at what the Rams did, given the roster that they have, that they're built to win now. I don't look and see that many obvious holes unless you're trying to get one of the wide receivers. Maybe you're taking Malachi Lemon because you're trying to move off of Puka Nacua, or you don't think Devontae Adams has much left beyond 2026. But I don't see many obvious holes preventing them from making a legitimate run to the Super Bowl this year. They might be the favorites out of the NFC this season, so you're going to be picking 31st, 32nd next year. You're probably going to be picking in the 20s or 30s the following year just because of how well you've drafted, how aggressive they are every year, and adding veterans to add pieces to that team to put them over the top to contend. You're not going to be picking in the top 10 next year with that loaded quarterback class. You're not going to be picking in the top 10 the following year. So you have the chance at 13 to take a quarterback with no other obvious needs on your roster who you have no pressure to start whatsoever. You put him in that quarterback room, you put him around Sean McVay, you put him around Matthew Stafford. If he doesn't play for 3 years, that's a win, right? Because you're developing him behind the scenes. You're still getting the benefit of Matthew Stafford. Whereas if you didn't take a quarterback this year, when do you have the chance? When do you have the opportunity to select Matthew Stafford's eventual heir apparent? And what does that look like? Is that a second-round pick in a mediocre quarterback class? Are you going to have to go into your F them picks mode again and trade multiple picks in multiple drafts to go and get a quarterback 2 years from now? I like the idea of having a developmental quarterback in the room, and the Rams were one of the few teams that were positioned to do it. I don't love Ty Simpson, the quarterback prospect in 2026. I'm fascinated by Ty Simpson, the NFL quarterback in 2028 after spending 2 years with Sean McVay. And you hear people talk about, oh, they could have traded back. Could they? Because the Jets are sitting there at 16. And, there's debate about what they might have done. I don't think that they would have gone Ty Simpson, but, you have to start to think, if you believe that Ty Simpson is a developmental prospect that you want to have in your room, and you're in the position that the Rams are, don't risk him going to the Jets. Don't risk another team trading up to get him. So I have less of a problem with the Ty Simpson pick to Los Angeles than a lot of people do, but it's just basically based on the situation and what they are at this stage of their development.
And also to their defense, Matt, I mean, really, if you look at what they did during the offseason, you could certainly argue that McDuffie was their first-round pick. I mean, they brought in a guy that is an immediate starter, and everything about him that you'll ever need to know about him. So it's almost like, it's that old thing, do we have a luxury pick here? It almost felt like the Rams, dare I say, even though it was the 13th pick in the draft, they had a bit of a luxury pick here, and they decided to do something that a lot of teams most of the time, A, don't have the courage to do, and B, don't have the ability to do because their team isn't good enough to be building for later on down the road without worrying about the present. We all are worried about the present, right? Getting better now. So I kind of commend the Rams and, their history. They've traded away tons of draft picks and done all kinds of unconventional things, and yet they're a contender literally year in and year out under that McVay and the upper management world there. Ever since they've been in charge, that team's been fantastic.
And people talk about Kenyon Sadiq or taking a tight end at that spot, and that would have been a fine pick. But they just traded up to take Terrence Ferguson in the second round at tight end last year out of Oregon, who in college was a dynamic playmaker and had a great Senior Bowl in Mobile last winter. So, again, there just weren't a lot of needs. You could talk me into needing to fortify the offensive line, but who are you taking at 13 that's going to be an upgrade over what you already have? So if you're taking the long-term view of keeping this Super Bowl window propped open in life after Matthew Stafford, I can't hate on Ty Simpson as the pick there, given their situation and the roster they have in place.
And a quick detour. I want to get back to the draft because it's draft. But there's a story that came out yesterday that ties both Lurch's Giants and my Jets together.
Funny and
Mr.
Yeah, crazy.
Yeah, Mr. Unlimited Russell Wilson visited the New York Jets yesterday, and the added additional context is this does not seem to be some random chance visit that happened. That the Jets, when Geno Smith, this is from all the reporting, that when Geno Smith was brought in and they bring him in and say, hey, you're the guy, they asked Geno, who are your preferences for backup quarterback? And apparently one of the names he's pounded the table for was Russell Wilson. What a twist of fate. Geno Smith goes to Seattle to be a backup to Russell, and now a few years later, Russell could come in to be the backup to Geno. I mean, it's wild. So what can you tell us about this? It doesn't seem like anything is imminent. It could happen any second from the reporting, but it makes a lot of sense. Russell and Sierra are in New York. Russell has a relationship with Geno Smith. It seems like something that could really happen here, Matt.
Yeah, Geno kind of seems like he's trying to keep it solid here. Go ahead.
Yeah, let's be clear about this. Russell Wilson is a shot fighter. There's not much left in the tank for Russell Wilson. The Russell Wilson in 2026 isn't even the Russell Wilson that you saw in Denver in 2023 or 2024. However, you inject sodium pentothal into my veins right now, Boy Green. I couldn't tell you the Jets' backup quarterbacks. Case Cookus, I think, was one of the backup quarterbacks in that room last year. So, right? So you need to. I think that Derek Muji and Aaron Glenn and Frank Reich are terrified of living that reality again. You're terrified of forcing Cade Klubnik into action before he's ready if something happens to Geno Smith. So you bring in Wilson, who at least is competent. He can at least turn the ball around and hand it to Breece Hall 20 times a game. He can at least complete 15 of 31 passes on the run to Kenyon Sadiq or Garrett Wilson or Omar Cooper. He's competent. He has NFL experience. It's not going to be a significant drop-off from Geno Smith to Russell Wilson. And the fact that they have a relationship, it shows you there's not going to be friction in that room, that Wilson's not going to try to play office politics behind the scenes to shiv Geno Smith to get that starting job. It just seems like you're elevating the overall talent in the quarterback room, which is what they should be doing. They should be getting better, especially if you've identified Cade Klubnik as your developmental prospect and you're gearing up to draft a quarterback, whether that's Arch Manning, Lenore Sellers, Dante Moore, whoever, next year. Just get through this year and don't live through the nightmare of having Manchild as your quarterback in week 6.
Which, by the way, shout out to Jamie the Facts guy. He brought it up and it, reminded me of the topic. And I would just say this because I haven't really talked about this anywhere yet. Like, Aaron, you mentioned it, Matt Lombardo, these random guess who names at quarterback that Aaron Glenn was forced to play last year when things went south. There's no way in hell he wants to do that again. And I get it. The fans are like, hey, if Geno goes down or sucks, we'd rather see Cade Klubnik and young guys because, that's what some fans want to see. That's not what AG probably wants to see unless Cade Klubnik just is balls out crazy this offseason and he's really good. He wants to see someone that can help keep his job alive and can do the basic things at quarterback. So, yeah, I think this Russell Wilson thing has real legs here. So we'll see.
No Brady Cook 2.0, huh?
Brady Cook.
Brady Cook.
Bailey Zappi.
Brady Cook.
Right.
Bailey Zappi.
Zappy hour.
Yeah.
Okay. And now they got Cade Klubnik.
Tyrod was there, but he just can't stay healthy for more than 10 minutes.
Yeah, he's a free agent. Right. So apparently the Jets, this was Rich Cimini's reporting on the Jets Collective podcast yesterday. So he does not think the Jets are interested in Tyrod Taylor bringing him back, with all due respect, because he has this bulky knee. And then you're just back to last year. If he comes in and gets hurt again, which he did, he got hurt so early, in the first week of training camp, he had to have knee surgery that knocked him out for the whole preseason. You're like, oh God, he was supposed to be huppa, and you were in that situation. So yeah, I think that's why, Russell obviously is far, with all due respect, I can't say that enough to Tyrod. Russell's a 10-time Pro Bowler, former Super Bowl winning quarterback, and he's just been better on his worst day than Tyrod's ever been on his best day. So, it would be an upgrade if they went in that direction. Just wanted to work a little bit.
I do find it ironic that the Jets are pecking away at the Giants' leftovers there these days. First it was Tyrod, and then you grabbed him after he was already clearly done, and now it's Russell. So, enjoy all the splendors of these guys that have come and gone with the New York Football Giants. It's the Manchild Show with Boy Green Digital at MC Show Digital. We are presented by Northeast Roofing Professionals. Today's video brought to you by our friends at St. Agnes Floral, part of the Allen Allen Floral Group and Mother's Day, fellas, coming up very soon. So you might want to think about flowers. And in the central New York area, the Allen Floral Group with 5 florists all around the central New York area, and they all work together to get you beautiful flowers. I got my lovely, some beautiful red roses for Valentine's Day from Allen Floral Group. I used the creative florists in Liverpool who were terrific to me, delivered it right to my doorstep. Great, great people. So as you're thinking about flowers, think about our friends at the Allen Floral Group. All right, we look at the draft here, Matt. I mean, what are your thoughts about who did the best? I mean, does someone get an A+? Is there somebody in this draft that you feel like, wow, they really, really nailed it?
Yeah, I think the Kansas City Chiefs should put the AFC West back on notice, because if there was anything about that offense taking a step back or any holdover, lingering concern about what Patrick Mahomes is going to be coming off the injury, they decided they were going to absolutely load up on the defensive side of the ball. I love the aggressiveness to go and get Mansour Delane at the top of the draft at number 6 to trade up and go and get him. I spoke to a coach who told me that, watching his film at LSU, that SEC teams were scared to death to go right at him, that they didn't throw to that side of the field all that often whatsoever. So you add the impact cornerback. You get a space-eating interior defensive lineman, Peter Woods. You drop him alongside Chris Jones. Maybe you don't get to double-team Jones quite as often as teams had in the past. And then R. Mason Thomas and Jaden Kennedy, they're long-term plays that can contribute snaps immediately off the edge. So I thought they got better in a way that they meaningfully needed to after looking what Bo Nix has done through his first 2 seasons in Denver, looking what the Raiders are building offensively with Ashton Genty and Brock Bowers and now Fernando Mendoza. Steve Spagnuolo was a big winner in the draft, and I'll just bring it back to Philadelphia. I mean, I talked about this on my podcast this week. I wrote about it in the column. There's a philosophy and a core value in Philadelphia where they will take guys a year or 2 before they become free agents. Last year was Andrew Makuba before you allowed Reed Blankenship to walk. It was Jihad Campbell at linebacker. You didn't have to get into a bidding war for Nakobe Dean. This year, you're trading A.J. Brown in a couple months, so you take Mekhi Lemon. You know that you're not going to bring back Dallas Goedert on another 1-year deal at the end of this year. So you take Eli Stowers, the consensus number 2, maybe number 1 tight end in this year's class. You take him in the second round. I thought they got better. Jonathan Greenard for a 3rd-round pick was better than any team would be able to do in the 3rd round. So I think the Eagles did well. And the Browns, look out for the Browns. If you were looking to build an offense and build a draft class to help a young quarterback, whether it's Shedeur Sanders, whether it's Dylan Gabriel, whether it's whoever they draft next year if Sanders falters again, that quarterback's going to be in a much better spot because of the weapons and the offensive linemen they were able to get in the early round. So I thought that those were the teams that really knocked it out of the park.
And one last one, just to throw in here, man. The one that was like, some Jet fans are like, maybe? I didn't have it on the bingo card, but possibly. Like Ruben Bain Jr. keeps falling. And I'm like, I didn't have it on the card. Like we wanted a wide receiver, wanted a tight end, we wanted all these things. But as he got to 15, I'm like, damn, I mean, if he's on the board, maybe you just do something crazy. He is not on the board for the Jets, ends up being on the board at 15. And he sort of has, which I heard from some reporting, as the draft prospects get selected there in the green room, they walk down this tunnel. And once you go to this tunnel, halfway through is a mirror that has a camera behind it and a draft hat that most people put on their hat and they like do something silly, like smile, go, ooh, yeah, I'm looking real good. Then they go out to see the commish. Ruben Bain, when he passed by his hat, he just like snatched it off and just put it on his head. And apparently Tampa Bay coaches love that because like he doesn't care about all the glitz and glamour. He's just a football player. And that's what they loved. What do you thought? That was a big steal too. Ruben Bain fought all the way in the laps of Tampa Bay at 15. That was a wow one to me when I was there.
Huge steal. And I honestly just broke this down on the site. Go to Between the Hash Marks on Substack, where we kicked off the series grading each team's offseason. Started today with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I really like the pick of Ruben Bain in Tampa, but I think it's part of a bigger picture reshuffling of that defense because they brought in Muhammad, who had 11 sacks last year, his best year in Detroit.
Oh, yeah.
The Buccaneers were something like 13th in sacks last season. Vita Vea led the team in sacks with 4.5. So you bring in Reuben Bain on one side, you bring in Muhammad on the other. You're suddenly now have a competent potential double-digit apiece sack duo on the edge, which you just think about this philosophically. You have two edge rushers racing at the quarterback with Vita Vea going up the middle. Somebody's getting the sack there. Somebody's disrupting the play in the backfield. I like that move. I love Josiah Trotter in the second round to pair with Alex Anzalone. You know, we talk about all of the young talent that Jason Licht has built on offense with the wide receivers, Emeka Egbukpa and Taz Johnson, and Jalen McMillan's the forgotten man because he was hurt most of last year, and young running backs. They really doubled and tripled down on beefing up that defense. And I thought that, you know, adding Reuben Bain, you know, that was, you were going to take a pass rusher there. Whoever the best pass rusher was on the board, they were going to take an edge rusher because that pass rush was so deficient last year. Bain's not a bad fit at number 15 or whatever it was. Not a bad pickup for them. I like it, and I think that it has a chance to be one of the more impactful first-rounders that we saw on Thursday night.
And by the way, we can help people. I see Danger Zone says, I wish I knew what Substack was. I must be getting old. No worries, pal. No matter what you're watching this on, YouTube or on Manchild Show with Boy Green Digital or the Boy Green YouTube channel, in the YouTube description down below is a direct link to this term called a Substack, and you can discover it and learn all about it. And there is a direct link that will transport you magically, this thing called the internet, and it'll jump you right on over to Matt Lombardo there. And you can check out his Substack, which has all of his wonderful reporting, columns, podcasts, a little bit of everything, a grab bag of activity. So, yes, that is Substack. Yes.
Yeah, Matt was nice enough to gift me a year subscription to his Substack. Nice. Now, you know, and again, like, you know, you don't have a ton of familiarity. I was familiar with kind of what Substack was, and I've read things on Substack, but now I have the app. Now I'm like seeing Matt's videos. I'm seeing his writings. I can jump into anything. There's tons of other content in the Substack world as well. But it's really, really a very, very cool interactive place. So much like before we started doing YouTube every single day, well, I knew what YouTube was, and I certainly watched things on YouTube. I didn't understand all the intricacies of YouTube and how you can join memberships and subscriptions and do all kinds of cool things. Same thing with Substack. There's a lot of kind of cool inner workings, Matt. So I'm enjoying the subscription. So thank you so much for giving that to me. And it's got me a little bit more plugged into your world, dare I say. So thanks for that.
Of course, it helps you remember the name on the appearances here as well.
Maybe someday, we'll see. You know, my brain only operates in one direction, Matt. I'm sorry. It's the way it is.
Well, Matt, give us some plugs here before we let you dip. We have the draft. That was a seismic event. And to your point, you're doing all this grading for everybody in the off seasons that they did, because the majority of roster is figured out. Now, there's still an A.J. Brown sprinkled in here and some other stuff that could happen this offseason. But for the most part, every team sort of knows now where they stand. We've got the schedule coming out in 2 weeks, OTAs, mandatory minicamp, all that's going to be happening here over the next 6 weeks. So what does that mean for between the hash marks, as I'm told it's pronounced? Let us know. What do you have cooking?
Yeah, so we're going to be grading every team across the league. We'll have 2 or 3 of those features each week. Every Monday, it's the 4 downs, all-encompassing omnibus column with the insight from executives and scouts and coaches and players on the biggest storylines across the NFL. And on Friday, shoot your questions to me through the Substack app, on Blue Sky at Matt Lombardo, on Threads at Matt Lombardo NFL. Shoot me your questions. I'll pose them to my sources and answer them in the column every Friday. Boy Green is a frequent star of the mailbag. He's very good about getting those questions in early enough for me to do the legwork and ask around. That's the Friday tent pole. And every 2 weeks during the offseason on Tuesdays, Mike Tanier and I host the Between the Hash Marks podcast. You get that as a subscriber to Substack sent directly to your email, or you can check us out on YouTube or on the Apple Podcast platform if you subscribe there. But this is a highlight of my week, coming on and talking ball with you guys. So thanks for having me, and looking forward to next week already.
All right. Appreciate it, Matt. You too. Have a great week.
Go Flyers.
Get
it done. Don't choke it away. Don't choke it away.
All right. They'll try not to. I've been rooting for the Penguins to come back. They went right down in their series big time. They're trying to do the old impossible, right? I think it was 3-0, and they're trying to come all the way back. So My son, as you know, is a diehard Penguin fan. And then
He is.
recently, just a few years ago, I don't know, about 5 years ago, I converted. I was like, all right, I haven't really had a real hockey team. I could kind of claim along the years that I was a Ranger fan for a bit and an Islander fan for a bit, but I never really have dedicated myself to a hockey fandom. And I said to my son, all right, I'll do it. I'll join you in Penguins Nation. This will be it. I'm going to take this one out to the grave. And so now I am a dedicated Penguins
Real
fan.
quick, what's the initiation process? Do you got to get jumped? Do you got to get branded? Like, how do you finally choose your Pokemon here? How do you choose your hockey team?
You
that's it?
$300 jerseys is what you do.
And boom, that's it. Oh, it's just a blood sacrifice. You just got to slice the hand a little, and it's your hard-earned cash is what indoctrinates you in there.
Money talks, you know what walks, right?
Okay, there you go. All right.
So there you go.
Sure.
All right. Good stuff with Matt there. We'll debunk it, break it all down, get into a few other things. But it is time to say hello to our sponsors. Again, we are presented today by Northeast Roofing Professionals. And as I mentioned, our friends at the Allen Floral Group today at St. Agnes Florist, one of the many florists, 5 of them here in the central New York area that take care of all the people in central New York when it comes to their floral needs. And obviously with Mother's Day coming up, flowers certainly on the mind of many. They will deliver. So if you're anywhere in this area, I was telling Boy Green, they don't have a location up in Oswego, but I was reading on their website a week or so ago, and they said that they would deliver to Oswego, so you can get your lovely some Mother's Day flowers now that she's a multi-mom. So always a good gift, the gift of flowers, and of course they have all kinds of other trinkets and things, but flowers definitely are their specialty. All right, let's just take a minute. We'll hear from our sponsors. We'll come back. I do want to get into some NBA stuff with Boy Green today outside of the football world with the Knicks getting a big win last night, and the Celtics choking on the bone at home. What the heck happened to the Celtics in the fourth quarter? I look forward to more of that in the next round. We'll talk all about it, talk about anything else that's on your mind in the world of sports when we return. Be right back.
Finding the right local roofing company can be tricky. You don't want to hire the wrong roofers, or you could end up spending a fortune on repairs. The pros at Northeast Roofing Professionals can ensure your home is protected by a strong and sturdy roof. Locally owned and operated, over 30 years experience, free estimates, and competitively priced. Don't settle for an inexperienced roofing contractor. Turn to Northeast Roofing Professionals. Discounts for military and first responders. Reach out and let them put a sturdy roof over your head. NERPCNY.com. NERPCNY.com.
All right, we are back. Manchild Show with Boy Green Digital at MC Show Digital. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel if you're not already a subscriber. The link right there below. And also, if you're already a subscriber, you can hit the like button. That's always nice when you come in and appreciate the content that we're delivering. Also, don't forget that you can become a member. So if you are a subscriber, you can become a member and support our channel. And you see it right there. Membership start at just $4.99. There are 3 member levels available. The 12th Manchild, which is our ground floor level at $4.99. You can become a diehard as well. You get some additional perks there. And the Hall of Fame level, I'm going to be unveiling, Boy Green. I'm working on it behind the scenes.
Ooh, okay.
Our trophy, our illustrious, gaudy trophy that will come, I think, likely in the form of one of those big WWE belts, one of those big wrestling belts. I think that's the way we're going to go. But you and I will consult, and we'll come up with something very gaudy and unbelievably fun.
Great.
Winner of our fantasy league. We are launching a fantasy football league through this YouTube channel. And the way to get into the league without having to do anything else is to become a Hall of Fame member. Okay, you become a Hall of Fame member and you stick with us for a little bit as a Hall of Famer, and we will make you a member of that league automatically. So fantastic. Oh, look at that. I'm number one Jets fan getting involved right away. Gifting 5 Manchild Show with Boy Green digital memberships there. Way to go, Austria.
Yeah, let's do it one more time.
Hell yeah.
Large, play a video.
Yeah, that's right. I got to play a video. Okay, yeah. I'm on the video page. So, all right, how about this one? Oh, my video's just moved. There
Yes, I use. Mama says that alligators are ornery because they got all them teeth but no toothbrush.
I like that. Okay, let me read real quick let me get this up here. The new members to the MC Show Digital family here. Lurch, while I'm grabbing that real quick from the YouTube overlords here, what is our updated? Let's go to our prizes. Well, actually, I got the 5 names here. Here are the 5 new members to the MC Show Digital family. That is Brian Farrell, NC Green, Cisco Lopez, Bob Lederer, and Adam Alexander Horvath, who is across the pond. So, wow, we got some legendary people here. Bob Lederer joins me every Friday on my show. NC Green was at our tailgate last year. Brian Farrell, who is amazing. Cisco's awesome. And Adam, who is across the pond. So, wow, we're getting a lot of new members in here. That's terrific. What are the prizes this month, Lurch?
Okay, prizes are really cool, and I sent you some videos. I don't know how quickly you'll be able to get them up, but I have them already. Still photos here. So let's go still photos first, and then we can go back to the video. So 3 prizes are part of this month's prize pool, this month's raffle, I should say. All right, and here are the prizes. I have these, and because we had them hanging on the walls of our studio for years. These vinyl Jim Boeheim life-sized posters. Okay, so there are 2 of them. Here's the first one. Throw it up here. All right, I just took a picture of this on my wall. Okay. All right, so you can see it's Jim Boeheim. There's an official that way. There's some guys on the bench here that are a little bit.
If you stood next to it, Lurch, where would you stand? Because maybe that'll give us a better sense of it. Yeah, you know what I mean?
I'll tell you this. I measured them. I figured people are going to want to know how big they are, right? So so they are 56 inches high by 45 inches wide. Okay, so
just under 5 feet high.
But yeah, it's nearly life size. It's almost like Jim Boeheim at his real height, maybe just slightly amended. All right, and it's a vinyl material. And so it's very, very durable. If you were really a big time Syracuse fan, you could probably have these cut really perfectly around the edges and then have it framed, but it'd be a huge frame. But we've just, we just tacked it to the wall. So it does have some little tiny tack holes in it because we had it tacked to the wall for years and years. So there's just little tiny holes along the edges. But it's a really cool looking thing. It's like, what a cool thing for a man cave or something, because it just covers, almost an entire wall, from top to bottom. It's really, really cool. And then there's a second one right here. All right, so you've got kind of this wider shot of Boeheim, kind of full body, and then you've got really tight shot, same size as this poster. So this poster probably is this is probably bigger than Jim Boeheim's torso, because it is also 56 inches high by 45 inches wide. So these are 2 big vinyl posters. Great thing to put in a man cave, or if you got one of those bedrooms, or kids' bedrooms where they have the fat heads. This is like our own version, essentially, of a fat head, although they are not adhesive, so you have to either mount them or tack them to the wall somehow, some way. But they're very durable. They're not made of paper, so these things will last you probably a lifetime. I've had them over 20 years, maybe 30 years.
And which one's autograph, Large?
This one is autograph. I tried to get a close-up of the autograph, but to Boeheim's right, kind of right at belt level, is an autograph right in that space there. And it does say, I did read it, Boy Green. It's starting to fade a little bit because he autographed it many years ago when he came into the studio for an interview with us. But it says, Bud, it was autographed to Bud Pollock with my partner, Bud, I'll be watching you, Jim Boeheim. All right.
Oh, there you go. Great.
That is what he autographed. So you remembered that correctly when you were talking about that the other day. And if you want to play the videos, go ahead, Boy Green. I took a video with each of them. I didn't actually pop in the video. You see my hand in there because I'm just showing you the vinyl material. Go ahead.
Okay, here we go. Yeah, I got 2 here. So I have not seen these yet, so we'll see them all together.
Yeah. All right, and here's the second poster. This one is a close-up of Jim Boeheim, obviously in his suit and tie. Really, really nice quality. By the way, both of the posters roughly 46 inches wide by about 56 inches from top to bottom. So both in really nice shape. And again, both this vinyl. So it's a really, really, this is gonna, it's really, really durable. There are a few holes along the edges for where we had them tacked in the studio, but outside of that, they're really, really in good shape, especially this poster. Really nice. Yeah, that poster right there, that one that I showed you, which was the second picture that I showed you in the studio.
Right.
That one was I don't think it was on the wall as long, so it's just really, really crisp. The color and everything is really,
looks
really
like
nice.
it.
Really, really
and I would just say I like that you grabbed it. Again, we'll have these videos to play for the next month, obviously, as people are bidding in. But it's cool to see and hear the vinyl as you're grabbing it. So let's go to another video here, and then Lurch. Also, I sent you a message in the private chat that we're talking about here. We'll explore that in a second. But let's go to this next video.
All right, and this is the first Jim Boeheim life-size poster. Again, tight shot of Boeheim, people on the bench. You got an official in the shot there. And like I said, it's made of this like nice vinyl material. So you can see it really, really well. I mean, it was hanging in the studio, so it's, not in perfect, pristine condition, but it absolutely looks awesome on a wall. Or someone could even take this thing and get it framed into a big frame and have it cut properly to fit a frame. So very cool item. I'll show you the second one in just a second.
All right, we just saw the second one. Now I have them organized, so now I will know in the future.
I didn't tell you it was 1 and 2. I just took one first. It took 1 second. So.
No, that's all right. So those are up for grabs, and again, I have both of them in there now. So now I will know when we do that in the future. Yeah.
And then the third item is this beautiful laser engraved 12th Manchild pint glass, laser engraved in both sides with this huge 12th Manchild logo. Other side, same thing, really cool. When you put a beer in here, maybe one morning I'll come in here and drink some beer for you guys. You see how cool it is with the laser engraved. It pops behind, the beer makes the laser engraved pop. I got a few of these because the pint glasses that we sell in our Etsy store and the ones that we have given away to people, I have learned they're not dishwasher safe. So if you put them in the hot water in the dishwasher, a number of times, that it's a decal that is on, it's almost like a, kind of call it like an advanced sticker that they can mount onto glassware. But if it's hit by hot water time and time again, and as you know, some of our dishwashers can get pretty hot, then that decal can actually wear off. And I actually had that happen with one of the glass. That's how I found out. I wasn't even totally aware of that. I should have read the fine print, and I didn't, as I often don't do. And then one of my stickers was starting to peel off. I was like, "Oh my god!" And then I went back and looked, and it said, you should hand wash these pint glasses if you want the sticker to stay on there forever. But this laser engraved, baby, this thing ain't coming off. This is laser engraved to the glass. So I got a few of these, and so I wanted to include that in the prize pack. So it's the 2 Jim Boeheim posters, really, really cool, big time vinyl posters, great for any college basketball lover or specifically Syracuse basketball lover. One of them, as Boy Green mentioned, is autographed. It was autographed to Bud Poliquin in our studio, and then this beautiful laser engraved pint glass. So that's this month's prizes. Easy. You can see the tote board already up, Boy Green. I have updated the tote board.
Great.
All right. So we have 3 groups, 3 people, I should say, tied for the lead. Our 2 Hall of Fame members, Zay Engineer and Jamie the FedEx guy. I told you, if you stay on board every month as a Hall of Fame member, 20 raffle tickets. Boom. It's like cha-ching. Don't even have to do anything. Goes right into the kitty. So both Jamie and Zay Engineer, and now number 1 Austrian, has jumped into that board as well by gifting the 5 memberships. You get an automatic 20 raffle tickets. So normally it's 2 raffle tickets per membership. Okay, if you gift memberships, or if you're just super chatting or super stickering, every $3 donation essentially becomes 1 raffle ticket. But if you gift 5 or more, boom, it automatically expands and doubles. So if you gift 5, as Austrian did, and thanks again, Austrian, for your generosity as always, bingo, you get 20 raffle tickets, so you can win these cool prizes. And again, we draw our raffle every month on the 22nd of the month, my lucky number. Didn't I see that your dad's birthday is the 22nd?
I did. I said that the last time you said, hey, next month is it. Yeah, so May 22nd is his birthday.
22nd. My birthday is the 22nd. Boy Green's dad's birthday is the 22nd. That 22 number, it just keeps reoccurring in my life. It's just one of those weird things. Sometimes you just get attached to a number. And so 22 has been a cool number for me for years and years. So that's the prize pack for this month. Good luck to everybody. T-Town Jet walked away with the harmonica and the lovely, lovely magazine, the Sports Illustrated from 2003, that is already on its way to T-Town Jet. And you can get right back in it as ready. As a matter of fact, T-Town already in the raffle as well. He gifted a membership right on the day that we gave away last month's prize pack, and I told him I'd put them right into the next month for the new membership. So thanks for that. And for anybody becoming a member and getting more involved in our channel. Go ahead, BG.
And just to clarify for all the people that may be considering gifting and things of that nature, the 22nd is when, so on May 22nd, we'll be giving away these Boeheim stuff, correct? So that means you have through the 21st to be able to do it, or really whatever our most recent live show is before that.
Right before that. Right. Exactly.
Okay. So there you go.
Yeah, we actually had a live show on the 22nd, so I drew the morning of that live show, and then we came on live that morning. I revealed who the winner was. So we'll always reveal the winners close to the 22nd in our very next live show, and we'll sell raffle tickets right before that 22nd. Okay? So that's the way you do it. It's cool. It's a great way to contribute to our channel and a way to get something out of it as well. And you heard me mention it earlier as well. I'll mention it one more time. We do have a merch store as well on Etsy. So if you're interested in cool goods, we've got golf shirts now for golf season. I know a lot of people getting ready to go outside if they're not already. Golf league started right here in Central New York here. You just go to this link right here, etsy.com/shop.
Or our YouTube description, whether it's the Boy Green channel or the MC Show channel. You don't have to worry about etsy.com/shop/this/that. Just click the link below. Takes you right to our merch store, as well as Matt Lombardo Substack link as well. But yes, to the merch store to make it super easy. Again, that is on the Boy Green channel and the MC Show digital channel.
We got the cool coffee mugs in there. We've got the golf shirts. You can get that in multiple colors and multiple sizes. Same thing with the mugs. We do have a pint glass in there as well with a cool 12th MC sticker on it. We've got cool fitted hats. Boy Green insisted on the fitted hats, so we got some really fancy schmancy fitted hats, but they are really nice. I've seen Boy Green sporting it on the air quite a bit, and it's really, really nice. And there's one other item in there, and it's escaping me right now. I think we have 5 items in the store right now. Okay. And I promise Matt from Auburn, we will have a hoodie, but it'll probably come later this season. All right. So there will be a hoodie as well. Oh, we got the cool t-shirts. You saw me wearing the t-shirt.
Oh, I was just about to say,
videos. Very, very cool. Huge logo. The Ringer t-shirt, I think they call it. All right. Very, very cool. So anyway, those are the items in there. You can go in there and purchase them anytime, whether on the air, off the air, or whatever. It's all through that Etsy shop, and really, really easy. And I've there've been a few things that have been sold. Generally speaking, it's taken about, a week and a half or so to get, from the time you ordered onto your doorstep and in your closet, so to speak. So it's a pretty quick turnaround. I know we're not Amazon, but these are custom items, and they have to be made custom by our manufacturer, and so we want to make sure that that's done well before they get shipped out and sent to you. So far so good. We've gotten a lot of good feedback on the handful of items that we've sold so far. The store's only been open a little over a month, so get in there and have some fun. Great stuff for summertime, whether it's t-shirts, hats, whatever it is.
And please make sure, if you end up buying anything from the shop, tag me /the show on social media. It makes it simple. It's at MC Show Digital on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. For me, it's easy. At Boy Green 25, Boy Green, obviously my nickname, and 25 was my jersey number in high school. So it's easy. It's that everywhere: YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all over the place. So tag us, because we'd love to promote it and repost it and share it and say thank you and give you a tip of the cap for supporting the show. So please make sure you guys do that if you do end up purchasing.
We are, these days, Boy Green, not only celebrating all things NFL and the NFL draft, and now post-NFL draft, and before too long OTAs and camp before we know it. We'll be back again.
Yeah, 100%.
But the NBA is in full throttle right now. They are in the playoffs, first round across the board. And there are a couple of really interesting storylines. Oklahoma City, not interesting at all. They're just destroying everyone in their path. So that's not been all that interesting. The Spurs took care of business again last night, too. So they're in firm command of their
they won the series. They won the series.
Right. That's right. It's over now. That's right. They won their series. So they're done 3-1. Get the heck out of here. All right. Yeah. So some things have been kind of chalk and as expected, but certainly the Detroit Pistons is anything but chalk. The number 1 seed in the East is on the verge of going out in the first round.
Tonight, 7 o'clock.
My goodness. I mean, and, they are back home for this game, the Pistons. The Pistons are back home for this game.
They are. Yeah.
It is game 5. They have the home court, obviously, is the number 1 seed. And they will get game 7 on their home court.
If
not impossible, okay? But they now have to win 3 games in a row. They have not been looking good in the first 4 games of this series. Orlando, a team that underachieved all year long in the regular
season, barely got in as a play-in tournament team.
Yeah, barely got in. Just, what's going on with Banchero? What's going on with all this other young talent? Last year, They look like an up-and-comer that could, in another year or two, really be a contender in the East, and they just had a major step back this regular season. But I've said it to you time and time again, Boy Green, the regular season don't mean diddly. It just doesn't mean anything because the playoffs is a complete reset. And suddenly, Banchero's starting to play well. The rest of that team's starting to gel. I don't know what the heck happened, but suddenly a light went off, a little light bulb, boop, in all the players' heads. And we knew the Pistons were susceptible. Sean Devaney has said it for weeks and weeks on the show. He doesn't trust the Pistons. He doesn't know, but he certainly didn't see them going out in the first round, and neither did I. 3-1 right now. Orlando is up in that series with a chance to win the series, close it out, and send the Pistons home by winning in Detroit tonight. If they don't get that one, they will get a chance to do it on their home floor in Game 6. If for some reason Detroit gets that, then look out. The wins might shift back to Detroit, who would obviously have Game 7 in their own building. But we're a long
I give them no shot. I think Orlando's meant to take care of business. And by the way, Fugazi Pistons all year long. Ooh, the bad boys are back. Get out of here. You're about to get freaking knocked out by Orlando. Unbelievable. LOL. So on that side of the bracket, we got Raptors and Cavs in a pillow fight. We've got this Orlando. Like, okay, here, you want to know who's going to, represent the Eastern Conference? Whoever wins the Knicks Celtics series in the next round. That's who's going to represent these. Like, come on, man. Crap is going on the other side.
Crazy. So Pistons in big trouble. As you mentioned, it's been kind of a pillow fight-ish kind of thing. But I mean, I really thought that Cleveland would just kind of take care of business against Toronto. And it's been a test.
All tied up now.
Sure. Yeah. It's been a test. Tied at 2-2. Again, they have 2 of
tonight,
the 3
7:30.
In Cleveland. So advantage Cleveland for sure. But if the other team gets Game 5, the whole thing flips. I always say, I've said this to you for years,
tonight.
You know it. Game 5s are it always is the pivotal game in the series when you have a good series that get Game 5. I know, of course, Game 7, wouldn't take all if you get there, but Game 5 is always a pivot point in these series. And when I talked to Sean on Friday about the Knicks, because obviously when I talked to Sean on Friday, okay, when you were at the draft, me and Sean did an interview on Friday morning as we normally do, talking all things NBA. The Knicks were down 2-1, all right? And they were going to have to play the next game in Atlanta. And I said to Sean, flat out, and this is not because I'm a diehard Knicks fan. I try to be as objective as I possibly can when it comes to my NBA prowess here, my NBA knowledge. I said to Sean, to be honest with you, Sean, I'm not worried. I said, I know that the Knicks haven't looked great in the last 2 games. I know that they're up to. The Knicks are absolutely going to win this Game 4, and then they're going to go back home to the Garden. They're going to take care of business, and this series is going to go right back to where it should be. They're only 1 game away from just putting it right back on its axis and then just running away with it. I honestly believe they're going to. They've been this way all year. They've just been this team that has these struggle points, but when their back's against the wall, it's like a switch goes off and they become a different team. And so not only did they go out there and take care of business in Game 4 and win that game down the stretch, as I expected them to do, but now they go home last night, play at the Garden with a star-studded celebrity row, including Carmelo Anthony getting some major Sports Center time, for his reaction to a couple of the plays. And fact of the matter is the Knicks just absolutely overwhelmed them last night. They're in total command of this series now. I don't even know if it comes back to New York for Game 7. I think they just go to Atlanta and take care of business. But they're going to win this series, regardless of whether it goes 7. And it could. Atlanta could have a resurgence here. They're going back home. There's only 1 day off, and then, boom, they play the second night. So this game's going to be tomorrow night. But I still think it doesn't matter. Whether it's 6 or 7, the Knicks are winning the series. And then let's get it on, Boy Green. Let's get it on. I know your Celtics are also not done. They were home.
We're up 3-2. Yeah.
Should have wrapped it up last night, did not wrap it up last night, and now they're going to have to go to 6 games minimum, and that 6th game will not be on their home floor. Now they have to go on the road
tomorrow night.
Game 6. And Philly did show a little life with Embiid back in the lineup. It showed a little bit of life. I still think Philly's fugazi too, despite the return of Embiid. They just haven't had enough time together as a team. Embiid's just been a physical train wreck this year. I feel bad for the guy. He's a good player, but Boston's going to win this series. I really don't have any doubt. But, I like that the Celtics are being pushed. And, while the Knicks are being pushed, because the Knicks always push themselves, it feels like. So that at least they come into this series kind of as equals when it comes to rest versus non-rest and all the things that kind of go into the blender when you expect to go into a series that I expect to be a Titanic series, that I expect to be big, big, big time basketball. The Garden will be rocking. The other Garden will be rocking. Okay, the two Gardens will be rocking. There is no love lost between these two franchises, particularly when you ask Knicks fans. We absolutely hate the Celtics, and for good reason. They have dominated us forever. All right, and it is time to return the favor. We did it last year. I believe we can do it again, but let's get there first. I want to enjoy these first-round series. I did enjoy that game last night very much, watching my Knicks take care of business as I had predicted, and now it is time to get this thing over with and focus on the men in green, ready to take them down. Thoughts, Boy Green? You have any? Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yes. No. The Celtics should have finished off the 76ers. They were up at the end of the third quarter. The momentum train, like, oh baby, all right, we're about to clean up here, and then they let it slip through their fingers, which it is what it is.
They shot 2 of 19 in the fourth quarter or something horrific like that. It was god awful.
Yeah, so all they had to do was not do that, and they would have won and ended the series and kicked the feet up, and they would have been ready. So that's disappointing because it would have been fun just to handle business, but the slander, the disrespect, the other Garden, how dare you? How dare you? Okay, how dare you, sir? And by the way,
what's the one that's called the world's most famous arena? It's not the one in Boston, my friend.
That's what you guys call it locally,
okay.
But here's the thing, Lurch. You know that last year you guys escaped because of injuries, which is fine. It is what it is. You guys were able to get the best of us because of injuries. As far as I'm concerned, there's a lot of health happening in Boston, a beautiful medical city. So we're all healthy. It's all full bore. So now let's line up and see what happens. Healthy. And let's see what happens in round 2.
We'll see. It's going to be great. It's really going to be a great series, Boy Green. I hope it goes 6 or 7 games. I hope it goes 7 games. That would be
good drama for us.
These cities will be lit, around this series, which is just good for basketball.
Of course.
Regardless of who comes
franchises.
out. It's just good for basketball. It's good for the NBA.
Yeah.
And I am also happy, and it's a little side thing. I don't want to go too far off the beaten trail here, but I am really glad, and we heard rumblings of this yesterday and really throughout this week, that the NBA is, and Adam Silver in particular, are going to crack down on tanking.
Yeah.
I've talked about it for years. It's really gotten sickening in recent years with tanking and how teams were literally just laughing at the commissioner, laughing at the NBA front offices about tanking. I'll do whatever I want. If I can get a better draft pick, I'll just go do it. And the NBA is on the verge of adapting some legislation that will really, really make it much harder.
Very complicated, though.
Yeah, very complicated. Almost too complicated, to be honest. I was like, what? Wait, what? What goes up and that goes
There's
down?
a danger zone, but the lottery to the this. And
hopefully it works. I'm glad they're addressing it. I'm glad that
Yes.
smart minds are getting in rooms, coming up with ridiculous plans to try to figure out how to concoct a system that doesn't allow teams to say, if we lose, we're better off. That really is. It's just this is a very simple problem. Make it so that if you lose, you're not better off. All right.
Right.
I said it for years. I know the NBA will probably never do this, but I honestly thought it was a really good idea. Is you take a group of teams, 4 teams, 6 teams. I don't know if you want to go out as far as 8, whatever the number is. There's a number that you could pick that are the worst teams in the NBA come the end of the regular season. Okay. So teams will do what they do, which is, but here's why they might not do it. Okay. Because you create a mini tournament. Okay. At the end of the year with this small grouping of teams, and the team that wins the tournament gets the number 1 overall pick. The team that finishes second in the tournament gets the number 2 pick, and you figure out a point system for the rest. Right. So, and you create a system and you give an advantage to those that have played better ball, okay, in this small group of teams. You can't let it get too large, but in this smaller group of teams that they get an extra home game or whatever, however you devise this little mini tournament where they get an advantage, home advantage likely would be the best way to do it, in this tournament, in order to advance. So you create a competition, a basketball competition in which even if you've had a terrible regular season, you can fight for something here at the end, And you could even build it into the back end of the regular season somehow. I know it's very complicated. I haven't worked out all the, crossed all the T's, dotted all the I's, but it's competition to win. So don't we always win things through competition? Like the drafts, NFL draft, Major League Baseball draft, the NBA draft, it's all about losing. You've created a system where you are rewarded for losing. How do you get rid of that? You get a system where you reward people for winning. Now, obviously, we can't give the best teams in the league number 1 picks every year. It'll be a disaster. We'd have such, complete and utter non-parity.
Keep the rich rich, keep the poor poor.
But you could take a small cluster of those that struggle and put them in a competition so that at least among the worst teams, somebody will get the most amount of help. I just think it's a better idea. Like I said, smart people are sitting in rooms right now going like, well, let's see if we do this and then we move this over here. I mean, if you hold on, E = MC squared, you go, okay, yeah, that'll work. And then the whole fan base is like, how does this work?
I will be honest. When I read the article from Shams on ESPN documenting the very complicated nature of, it's going to expand from 14 teams to 16 teams. If you're a top 5 team, you can fall as far as 12, but not past 13. That's because these playoff teams. I'm like,
less ping pong balls. If you're here versus these guys, will get an extra ping pong ball.
You can get punished with this ping pong ball. If you can't pick top 5 in 3 years in a row, but you can't get number 1 in back-to-back. You're like, my brain molecules are exploding, what little ones I have. However, I will say this. I like that they're attempting to do something. Like Adam Silver said, this is a massive issue, and we want to try to fix it, and we're doing everything in our power. We're throwing all the resources. We're having all kinds of smart people in the room to try to diagnose this. So while the result is incredibly confusing, I like that they are attempting to do something different to try to curtail this issue, and we'll see if that ends up being it. But it is very incredibly confusing. Like, again, it's not called the danger zone. What's the thing called? What's it called? The relegation zone?
Yeah, the relegation zone. They call it the relegation zone.
So you want to play out of the relegation zone? You don't want to get stuck in the relegation zone? But
we're having to create new terms. And again, like I've said this for years and years about everything in sports that we've talked about when it comes to these kinds of things. You have to make it so that the fans get it. You want interest, right? You always want interest in your league. And you don't want to create things where people don't get it. I've said this for years about the salary cap and salary structure. Like you just need to make it easier to understand. If you start having all these loopholes and all these different things, then you need lawyers to interpret it for you. And then you can't have fun with it as a fan. You just don't get it. I didn't get it a few years ago when the Knicks couldn't keep their center. They had the center. What's his name? Escaped me. Just went to OKC. Hartenstein. Hartenstein. The Knicks got him on a really great contract. Okay, they plucked him away from someone else and got him on this great 2-year deal. But then because they got him on such a great deal, when the deal ended and it was time to renew him, which they absolutely wanted to do. They wanted to keep the twin towers of him and Robinson together. That seemed like a logical thing. Yada, yada, yada. They were rolling. Things were good. We didn't need to even worry about going and getting a Karl Anthony Towns. We could have gotten another piece, somebody else. We're in line. But no, the Knicks were only allowed because of the low contract that they were lucky enough to get for 2 years. They were only allowed to offer him incrementally more money, which opened him up to the entire rest of the league, including OKC, who threw a bundle of money at him that the Knicks couldn't match even if they wanted to because the rules said you can't.
Yeah.
How does that make any sense to a fan base or to an organization that wants to keep a player?
Right.
I mean, it's just the dumbest thing ever. Fans want to understand these things, and they want to know that it makes sense. Doesn't make sense. And we've gone out of control with these salary caps. I understand they're necessary, but we need to make them more understandable, less lawyer-like, more people-like, okay? Yeah. It's the people that matter. We buy the jerseys. Yeah. We buy the tickets. We watch the television, okay? It's all us. We are the ones that support you. So please,
remember, folks,
love.
Soylent Green is people.
Yeah, there you go.
Soylent Green is people. Here's like the line from the story. So this from ESPN. The 3-2-1 lottery proposal, named to represent the number of lottery balls per team, would expand the lottery from 14 teams to 16 teams. Teams that do not qualify for the playoffs of the play-in tournament but stay out of the relegation zone, spots 4 through 10, would receive 3 lottery balls apiece. Teams with the bottom 3 record, the relegation area, would only have 2 lottery balls but have a floor of the number 12 pick, and the rest of the 13 lottery teams could fall as far as the 16th pick. Like, this is incredibly confusing, but God, I hope that they figure out whatever the hell is going on here.
Yes, if you sat down, you could draw a chart and a graph and kind of understand it, but it's
a laser pointer. I'm explaining. I don't know. Yeah, the easier it is, the better. But again, if they're doing anti-taking policies, that's great, because obviously it's a full blown out problem.
That's the
we should not have the situations where the Mavs can dive on purpose, which kills the Knicks' first round pick. And then he gets fined. Mark Cuban's like, yeah, I'll match your fine. Suck on this.
Charity.
Like, it just,
I'll match your fine and send it to charity.
Like,
he literally spit on the NBA, and they did nothing. They did nothing other than
they didn't come back to him at all. Nothing.
Right, and let him do that to them. I just don't understand. They want to discipline freaking James Dolan, even though he is the biggest, what in the world. Okay, for having a fight with Charles Oakley at Madison Square Garden.
Oh God,
banning him, right? But Mark Cuban spits at the feet of the commissioner, and they just go,
nothing.
Okay.
Well, that happens.
That sucked. Okay. Anyway, move right along. I just. It doesn't make any sense. It just doesn't make any sense sometimes. And generally speaking, when Adam Silver first took over for David Stern, I thought, this guy's going to be a good commissioner. He's a little more personable. He seems a little more down to earth. He's, Stern ruled with such an iron fist that I thought that Silver could find a way to still be highly disciplined, but at the same time build the relationships maybe even more so than Stern did during his tenure. Although I totally, whether you like David Stern or not, I mean, he guided the NBA to unbelievable heights. So he deserves tremendous respect for what he did. So I'm not knocking Stern, but I thought Silver would be Stern with an extra tentacle, an extra arm, a really kind of cool quotient that might actually work good for the future of the NBA. And the fact of the matter is, he's been a complete weak commissioner. He has not been half of what I thought he would be. He's been incredibly disappointing to me. And so this is a rare, dare I say, a rare occurrence here, where he seems in touch with what's going on and is actually trying to do something about it. So we'll see what the ultimate solution is, but I appreciate that he's at least addressing it, because he has let disciplinary matters get out of control. He has let all kinds of things just be overlooked. Just, okay, let it roll off the shoulder. And meanwhile, it's a detriment to the league. So I think he's been a very poor commissioner so far. Still got time to maybe right all the wrongs that he's done, but he's made a lot of mistakes, a lot more, I think, than David Stern has. Go ahead.
For sure. No, Jamie, fantasy order reveal. I thought he was going to not bring this up, but he has.
I have control now, Jamie. Don't you understand? You lost the bet, and now I have control. Okay?
So what is your control on this situation?
There'll be no chatter on this at all.
Sorry,
I don't know. When should we do the reveal? All right, we'll talk about it for a minute,
okay,
because he's going to drive us crazy if we don't. When do you think? We are in the month of April?
We're in the month of April.
I mean, you know what I think? Okay, I'll throw it in.
Give it to me. Yeah.
NBA Finals.
Oh, so like
June.
August?
June. No, it's June. It's not August.
I know. It's like June 26th or something.
Yeah, mid-June. So we could do it, maybe we could do it opening night of the NBA Finals, if that falls on the right day or something, or that week.
Oh, like game 1 or like game 7 or something? What are you saying?
Yeah, game 1, right at the start of the NBA Finals.
Okay, so that's like mid-June. Okay.
So there you go. Okay, there's a broad strokes for you, Jamie. Mid-June.
Month and a half.
Bed. All right, get back on the roof. Go deliver some packages. Leave us alone. Okay. I think June. I think we'll do it sometime.
Okay, cool. There you go. Nice.
Be locked and loaded. We don't do it. The draft is not until September. Okay, right? Maybe
late
August. It'll be late August.
We'll have to because we have Wednesday night football this year because of the uniqueness. So we have Wednesday, Thursday. So we are going to have to adjust to that to make sure everyone has time for their lineup. So we'll probably, although this is people need to know how the sausage is made, but one of the reasons we put it in a certain place is because of a certain person in our league. That certain person in our league is not in our league, so that gives us a little bit more flexibility on the scheduling. So we've got a lot of hoopla to figure out, long story short.
Yeah. And you know what? That brings something to mind that I wanted to just briefly talk about.
Okay. Yeah.
Again, you know how I can get wax poetic and get philosophical. Um, but this is kind of a thing that I wanted to mention today, even though we are a sports show, because
Oh,
people
okay.
have been affected. Okay. So you were talking about the fantasy draft, and we always for our champs league we do that in person. And this
Yep.
past year, we did it at a wonderful establishment in Liverpool, New York, called Smoky Bones.
Oh, terrific.
And
Yes.
Smoky Bones on Route 31 in
Yeah.
Liverpool, great place. And they kind of jumped in, kind of 11th hour. We were scouting around. We have in prior years done it in some different locations, and Smoky Bones kind of jumped to the table, and we were very
Yeah.
happy. And for those of you that have been watching the channel since then, remember we had the lovely JJ, one of the lovely
She was
bartenders
terrific.
at Smoky Bones, and
Thoroughly
she
enjoyed
also
her time there.
handles all their catering and everything. She had recently acquired a new role as kind of head of catering for that
Yep.
particular branch. Great, really nice young lady. And she came on, and we talked all about our fantasy draft and all about the wonderful things
Food
that
specials, all that. It was great time. Great time.
and as you know, I'm everybody in the world has their, based on where they live, based on the food they like, they have their kind of, call it their hot spots, their restaurants that they go to a lot,
Okay.
that they return to.
Sure.
And Smoky Bones is definitely on that list for me. It's convenient.
Okay.
It's relatively close to my home. When I'm coming down from certain places that I work, it's along the way. So it's a great pit stop for me a lot of
Okay.
times. So it's one of my favorite places here in Central
Okay.
New York, and has been for, probably close to 10 years.
Okay.
Well, the company that owns Smoky Bones is a company called, now it just, of course, I'm getting ads over the thing that I just opened up. It's a company called Fat Brands, FAT.
Okay. I've never heard of
Brands.
it. Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
me neither. They also own these restaurants called Twin Peaks. I don't know if you've ever heard.
Oh, I've heard that. That's the pizza places, right?
Yep. I don't know if it's a pizza, but yeah, it's another chain. Twin
Oh,
Peaks.
that's
They also
Twin
own-
Trees. Oh,
Yeah,
Twin
no, it's Twin
Trees.
Trees. Yeah, no,
Twin
Twin
Peaks.
Peaks. I
Oh,
think it's kind
no,
of
I
like
don't know.
like an Americana, Americana
Oh,
kind of
all
style.
right. Okay.
So on and so forth. But they own all the Fat Brands have taken over all of the Smoky Bones locations. They had in January filed, I think, Chapter 11 bankruptcy. I don't understand all these different bankruptcies,
Oh.
but their idea there was that they were going to close. They closed down a couple of stores that were non-performing, as we often see in the corporate world, and they decided to restructure. They were going to restructure and make themselves bigger and better and stronger. We see this in the corporate world all the time. Well, 24 hours ago, okay,
Oh, wow.
they made a decision corporately. All right. And we have seen this across corporate America, quite frequently, frankly, in the last 10 years. And it makes me sick
Okay.
to my stomach, which is why I bring it up on the show
Oh,
today.
no.
They just basically, with less than a day's notice, okay, called all of their Smoky Bone franchise owners and said, you're closed starting tomorrow. All right. And so every one of those franchisees, including the one right here in Liverpool, New York, had to call every one of their employees and say, hey, don't come to work tomorrow morning. We're closed. And they're permanently closed. Okay. So every Smoky Bones across the country, including the one
Oh,
right
my
here
gosh.
has been closed. This was announced yesterday.
Damn.
Employees, management, everybody, the cooks, all the people were given less than 24 hours notice. They didn't,
Damn, that's
they were
cold.
working the next day, or, hey, my shift is Tuesday, and they had to get a call and say, yeah, don't come into work. We're done. What's next? I don't know. We're done.
Damn.
I'm fired. You're fired. Everybody's fired. So, and it just brings to light again a world that we live in where it's wonderful sometimes what corporations do. They support our sports. They help pay for these big time contracts of players, so on and so forth. But the level of loyalty that is not shown by these corporations, the bottom line mentality that is shown by these corporations, frankly, makes me sick. I'm glad I no longer work in corporate America. I did for a long time. And it's one of many reasons why I got out. Maybe the biggest reason is I'm just not going back to a world where I'm not valued, where they don't have enough respect for me they want me to give them 2 weeks when I have to leave. They want me to give them sometimes even more than 2 weeks when I have to leave. But they can call me the night before my shift and say, hey, by the way, you don't have a job tomorrow. Hey, my rent's still due at the end of the month. My electric bill's still coming in. I got to pay my cable and my phone. Really? Well, how the heck are you doing that? You don't have a paycheck tomorrow. So if you weren't lucky enough to have a nest egg or to be able to quickly get on your feet, which is not easy in today's world, a lot of people out there today across the Smoky Bones family,
Damn.
not a happy day. And so I want to send out my love to every one of you, particularly the people here locally at the Liverpool restaurant. You've been a great place for me and many others around Central New York to stop in and go to. I just really feel for you today. I can tell you, I don't even have to. Empathy is real, and this has happened to me, so I know what it feels like, and it's not a good feeling. And so I hope you're okay today. I hope you understand that there's still a lot of love out there in the world for you. And even though your corporation didn't show it yesterday, for sure, very dark, black day for that corporation. Just faith will get you through. Just stay the course. You'll get back on your feet. But be aware of the dangers of corporate America, because it's out there, it exists, and it's getting worse and worse, not better. And so,
damn,
I feel for you today. So yeah, Smoky Bones is closed.
Wow, I had no idea. You just informed me. I had no idea it was. Obviously, it's devastating news for all the people, first and foremost, that are involved. That's terrible. JJ was amazing. And there's so many, I'm sure, other amazing people that work there that you interacted with. And wow. And I loved having our fantasy draft there last year. I wanted to do our fantasy draft there for next year and every year moving forward. Obviously, that's not going to happen. That's but terrible for the people. Less about us, terrible for the people. That's awful news. But thank you for that very passionate, those very passionate words, Lurch, for those people.
So we'll see what happens. A lot of these locations now are empty. Literally the doors were shuttered yesterday. I actually drove by. Someone had informed me when I was on my way down from teaching late last night, and it's right along the way. As I said, it's one of my pit stops. I wasn't planning on going there, and I was like, let me just drive by and see if what this person had told me was true, because they said Smoky Bones is closed. I was like, and I just thought, is it just Liverpool or something going on? And then I drove by, and they just had a sign. Literally, they had a sign on the door that said, we are closed today. Like, that's how, they didn't even, what do you even do? Literally the manager was told you don't have a job. And so they just put a quick sign out there, but it's not just closed today. It's closed tomorrow and the next day and the next day and the next day.
That sucks.
And hope maybe another good restaurant takes over that space, and some of those people, get a job, get their jobs back and get back to work. Cause that sucks. That sucks. Yeah. Whether you're a cook, whether you're a bartender, whatever it is that you do, a manager, it sucks, man. Now all of a sudden today you don't have a job. What the hell do you do? Remember when that happened to me? I was like, what do I do? I remember
not a good feeling. Yeah.
Remember the haze of like, where do I go? What do I do?
Now,
I guess I should go home. What do I do after I go home? It's crazy. It's a bad feeling, man. It's a bad feeling. So again, kudos to all of you out there. We're praying for you. We're sending love, and we hope you get back on your feet sooner rather than later. Sad stuff, man. Sucks.
Absolutely.
Sucks. Okay. So anything else? We got NBA. All right. Looking forward to that series with the Celtics. I think we've done good yeoman's work on the NFL draft. And for anybody that, wants to pick up some additional draft stuff, Paul was sending in videos. I posted on our site. So we, so go back, watch all the stuff. Paul's just got random videos. He's got some videos that he's in. But as we've been talking about over the course of the last week, and I know he has a ton on his Jets channel, all of the unbelievable experiences, how close he was to the stage, the people he got to meet, the trinkets that he collected. And I'm like so mad that now that I didn't go to this draft, because I was on the cusp. And if you remember, just going back, a few months, I was the one. I mean, I'm not saying that you went because of me, but I was the one saying, maybe we should go to this draft. And you were like, really? And I was like, yeah, like, why not? It's 5 hours. Like, I love Pittsburgh. Let's get the car and go do this thing, and then you ended up being the one going, and I didn't go anywhere. But no, so go check out our channel. If you subscribe to our channel, you can go through all of our videos, or you don't even have to subscribe. You can just go to the link and you can see, have shorts in there. We've got, we've got all kinds of stuff. So go check it out. I think we did, a really nice yeoman's job on covering the draft and having some fun with it and making it easy for people to kind of get that kind of perspective that you had. So that was pretty neat.
I want to give a
show tonight too. Go ahead, plug away.
I do want to plug it. By the way, I got to give a reminder right now to Lurch and to Brett LaBelle, our Survivor Castaway, who hopefully is returning tonight. It's a 2-hour episode tonight that I've just been informed. So we'll be on. It's scheduled for 10:15 tonight. Our recap episode of Survivor, the CBS reality show. But again, if we're all gathered, we'll join even earlier than that to get on and immediately start the show. So yes, this is our non-sports thing we do on the channel. I've gotten a lot of great response from it, which I hope you guys all enjoy. Again, obviously I'm a crazy Jet fan. Look at my background, for God's sakes. But it's nice every once in a while to dabble in something else. And so we recap the latest episode of Survivor, a 2-hour episode tonight. You can watch it on CBS. You can watch it on Paramount Plus. And then after the episode ends, come on in. This is the most engaging, interactive show that we do on the channel. So we want your questions. We want your comments. We want your nostalgic Survivor questions. All of that is open. So guys, make sure you guys come check it out. The Survivor show tonight. It's scheduled for 10:15, but we could come on at 10:05 or 10:10 or what have you. It'll be myself. It'll be Lurch, and it should include our former Survivor castaway, Brett LaBelle, who I'm about to text tonight and make sure to get it. Oh, do we got a new buff?
There you go. No, well, there's my old buff, man.
Oh, your old buff.
I don't wear it on the head too much during the show. I usually, as you know, put it on my microphone here because it glows beautifully in the night.
Sure.
But, you know, what the heck? I'll go to Babushka world here for a minute. You know, anybody that lives in my neighborhood knows when I go out and do any yard work, I'm out gardening.
Yeah.
You know,
Okay.
I wear my buffs. You know, not usually.
Is that normally how you wear it? Is it normally across the head? Do you do it in any other fashions or styles? Because some people wear
I do the head. I do the head.
The arm.
It's pretty simple. You know.
Okay. There you go.
I like try to be like my brother, who's like Mr. Biker. You know, used to, you know, had the bandanas.
Oh, sure.
And you tuck it in there and you make a babushka out of it. So, yeah, I do that a lot just to keep, again, the sweat from dripping all the heck over me. You know, now that I unfortunately don't have much on top or have nothing on top.
Got to protect it. Yeah.
Yeah, you got to, you know, otherwise you just, you know, the sweat is just dripping in your eyes. So when I go out and do gardening or when I'm out mowing the lawn, everybody thinks I'm a psycho out there, but I got all kinds of babushkas that I wear. You know, I got American flags, I got Survivor, I got just regular bandanas of all different colors. Yeah, so I got a whole collection of things there that I chuck on my head. So neighbors probably think I'm nuts. Anyway, yeah. So, but it's just a mechanism to keep sweat out of my face. So there you go.
Yeah. That's it. No, and so I'm glad that we're getting some run out of your buff because, like you said, normally it's just on the mic stand. So that's nice. I love it. So yeah,
maybe I'll break tradition tonight and wear it on my head. We'll see.
Ooh, okay, we'll see. So again, the Survivor episode 10 is this evening. 9 episodes so far. Watch the episode, then come join us and recap it with us. We have a lot of fun with Brett, and like I said, I'm texting Brett as we speak to make sure that he's in for tonight. Make sure he's feeling better, quite frankly, with everything that's going on.
Well, let's pop in Johnny Boy here for a minute. He's coming into
up?
the chat here. He's been a member on your channel for 21 months. Congrats, Johnny.
Wow, that's unbelievable.
That's dedication, baby, right there. This question for Lurch: how do you eat your hamburger? Why is he asking about hamburgers? And I know you guys dined together in Pittsburgh. So what's with the hamburger? Where's this? Okay. Where's this? I'll answer it honestly, but where's this going, BG? Okay. Where's this going? Because I know you guys did go to whatchamacallit?
Permanente Brothers.
Permante's right.
Yes.
Permanente Brothers. In Pittsburgh, where they have many, many locations. But just for people that don't know, Permanente Brothers is this chain in Pittsburgh that it was originally started there. There is an original location, but it is expanded. There's got to be like 15 or 20 of them across the Pittsburgh region. And so they're all over Pittsburgh. And they serve sandwiches, and they put French fries and coleslaw in the sandwich, in between the bread, a stack of fries and coleslaw, and then whatever meat you're going to have. And it could be a burger. It could just be like roast beef. It could be all kinds of meat you get to choose. And it's this freaking sandwich that you're like, try to get your mouth around it because it's so huge to just even get a bite out of it. So it's this massively thick sandwich.
Okay, let me ask you something. Have you ever been to Permanente Brothers, Lurch?
Yes, I did. Literally one of the first times that probably on the first visit that my son and I went to go visit Carnegie Mellon University, which is where he ended up going. We're doing, the typical college visits. Mm-hmm. I had heard about Permanente Brothers. I have a friend actually here in Syracuse who grew up in Pittsburgh, and he said, you got to go to Permanente. So I found a Permanente and went to the Market Square one, which is right in downtown. And yes, I did the sandwich at Permanente Brothers.
So I want to have a little bit of
many hours afterwards, but go on.
So I want to have before we get to Johnny Boy's question, I just want to have a little back and forth with you.
Okay.
So when you saw the size of this sandwich, did you ask the person, like the bartender or the person that brought it over, like, how am I supposed to eat this? Did you have any conversation about that?
No, not at all.
Okay. So, anywho, let's get to me and Johnny Boy's story, and then we'll get to the burger.
Okay.
So he orders a Permanente Brothers sandwich. It comes up, and obviously this thing, it's hard to describe in words. So go to the video. I have a before and after video on my YouTube channel that you guys can check out. And this thing is massive.
Yeah.
So the woman, he's like, geez, hello, like this thing's massive. And the bartender says, what you need to do, what I would suggest to eat this thing proper, so you because you can't fit that in your mouth, is press down the sandwich and then cut it in half. Okay. So with those instructions, Lurch, if someone tells you to press down the sandwich, how do you think you would press down the sandwich?
With your hand, just press it down. What do you mean?
Okay. Yeah. So Johnny Boy with 2 fists.
Oh, wow.
He like
wow,
Hulks,
one of these. One of those?
He does a Hulk smash into it and like
Wow.
crushes it to nothing. And then the bread's like all breaking up from him, like punching the sandwich. So to me, I was like, when she said, hey, like push down the sandwich, in my head, I thought I knew what I would do if I had the sandwich to answer her instructions. And when he went, whoa, and I was like, what?
It's probably the way you should do it, in all honesty. I think Johnny was on point. I would have probably been more dainty and just kind of used the heel of my hands to try to
Well, heel, that may have been a good choice. Okay, so let's
I don't want to bread. I don't want to mash up the bread. I don't want to bust it out all over the place.
Which is what he exactly did.
Mouth. Right, exactly.
Which is what he did. Okay, and if they said you should press it down and then cut it in half, how would you cut a sandwich in half? So the sandwich is this, okay? It's a big rectangle, basically. How would you cut the sandwich in half?
Get a knife and cut it in half.
But what direction? How would you cut it?
Well, if it was rectangular like this, I'd cut it, across. I mean, yeah,
of course.
if it's
idiot.
grilled cheese, I'd go triangular, but it's not grilled cheese, so I go across. Grilled cheese is always triangular.
So right down the middle is what you would do, right? The sandwich is rectangle. You cut it right here, right?
Yeah.
That's what any normal person would do. This idiot, Johnny Boy, and I'm watching him do this. So at first, I'm sort of stunned with how he just smashed the sandwich.
Smashed the sandwich into the table.
I'm like, that seems silly.
All over the place.
So, right, we have a rectangle sandwich. This guy grabs the knife and cuts it long. And I'm like, what are you doing, you freak? Like, what in God's green earth are you doing here? So then he has these 2 weird slivers. And I'm like, what is going on here? So he did. Anywho, let's get to the hamburger story of what Johnny Boy wants us to say.
Okay.
But to go to the hamburger store, we got to go 1 meal previous. Okay. 1 day previous. So we go to the bar McFadden's where Jake Asman has his party, and we'll get, actually, Jake didn't see any of this food stuff, but I will talk to Jake. Well, we talked to Jake today, but we go to the bar and we're not sure the food situation at the draft. Can he have food, especially in the pit? Like, do you get food and drinks? Are you just stuck there for hours? So we're not sure. So Johnny Boy says, well, we should eat at McFadden's and load up because we don't know what's going to happen. I'm like, that makes sense. Let's eat. He says, let's go to the bar. We go to the bar. They give us a menu. And I'm looking. They got like burgers and all kinds of normal things you would have at a bar. And I'm thinking what I'm going to get for myself is a burger and fries, and that's it. Okay. Johnny Boy appears to be wanting to get like a burger and fries, and that's it. And then I just float to him. I said, hey, would you want wings? Would you do an appetizer? He said, hell yeah, I would. And I'm like, wow, okay. Because I said, I wasn't going to get this by myself, but if you also want some of the appetizer, I'll split it with you. Sure. So we tell the bartender, hey, burger fries, and can you get us wings? And you get 10 wings. Okay. Lurch, if me and you were sharing wings, how many wings would each of us have?
5 and 5.
Seems pretty reasonable. Okay. So we get 10 wings to the table. Okay. He takes 1 wing, and I take 1.
I'm trying to grab more of the flats. I like the flats over the drumsticks.
I prefer drums, so we would be a perfect simpatico.
Like, I might go 5 flats, you go 5 drumsticks.
100%. God bless America. Exactly. That's what partners. I would do. Yeah, exactly. It's perfect. It's yin and yang. Okay. So I start going to town. I eat 1 wing, 2 wing, 3 wing, and then I look over at him, and he's still on wing number 1, and I'm like,
wow.
I'm not some food eating contest guy. I turn to him and say, what's up? He's like, Paul, I'm full. After eating 1 wing, and I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. I only got wings because you told me to get wings. And I said, I would have only got them if another person committed. So I said, gosh darn it. So I throw down the wings and I just start going to town. So I get to 7 wings. I'm 7. He's 1. There's 2 left. I'm like, Johnny Boy, you better eat these wings, man. I'm not getting these away. I mean, if I have to, I will shove this down my throat. I hate wasting. I hate wasting food. It says no. And we met a nice Jets fan. Said, hey, Jets fan, do you want these hot wings? God, if you fed me these in 2 hours, I would chow them down, but I don't want them to go to waste. So someone does it. So he eats 1 wing, and I'm like, what a freaking jerk. He only ate 1 wing. He pushed me to do all this, whatever. Okay. So you have all that.
Did he not like the wings? Can I just jump in there?
No, he said the wings were fine. They were delicious. He just said he was full. And I'm like, okay. So we go to this meal. We go to Permanente Brothers. Next day, we're eating like a brunch, lunch sort of thing. Okay.
Now your antenna's up here now. Your antenna's up.
My antenna's up. And I'm like, in my head, I'm not getting a freaking appetizer. Yeah. I'm just getting my meal and that's it. So he orders his Permanente Brothers sandwich. I remind, and he says, also, bartender, get us the Bavarian pretzel, which is like called the big ass pretzel or something on the menu. And he says, get us the appetizer. And I'm like, are you sure? Because I don't want to commit to
I'm
an
not eating an
appetizer.
entire pretzel
and
here, buddy.
Said,
you eat one little thing.
And he says, no. I'm in. I'm like, okay, here we go. So he orders the pretzel, comes over. This thing's freaking massive. It's a massive pretzel. And I get to like my 40, 50% of the pretzel because I assume that's what we're both committing to. So I eat mine. And then he's only eaten a piece of his. He's like, hey, eat more pretzel. And I'm like, what do you, dude, the appetite, you said you were going to be in. He's like, no, I'll eat it. So I ate about 60% of this pretzel. He ate 40%. I didn't even commit to an appetizer to begin with. So I wasn't going to eat one. I was just going to have my meal. But whatever.
60-40 if it was going to go
anyway.
Yeah,
100% to make up the difference. But so I eat 60% of pretzel. My food comes. So I trow down the fries because the burger was still hot. The fries were cooler. So I eat down the fries. And I start getting into burger. I'm like halfway through the burger. And I'm like, oh, boy. I need to shed the buns here if I'm going to make it to the end of this road. I can't eat all of this and the appetizer I didn't plan for. So I take the buns off. I start cutting up the burger, egg, and bacon. Part of the burger, I'm just trying to get it down my throat because I'm like, I don't think I can do the buns. And then he takes a video and goes, eating your burger with the fork and knife guy. And I'm like, what? I'm like, I'm just trying to eat what's left over to eat the burger because I didn't plan on eating an appetizer because you were a freak with an appetizer yesterday. And now this appetizer. And now I'm the laughing joke of all Jetsland. Oh, this loser eats his burger with fork and knife. And again, I normally eat my burger, my hands like a man. Johnny Boy keeps poking the bee's nest here with his 21-month member shout out here. He's a horrific person to go out to food with. You can't commit. Okay, if I order a pizza large, me and you order a pizza together and there's 8 slices in there, and you tell me you're going to eat some of the pizza, you're eating how many slices?
I mean, minimum of 3, but probably 4 and 4.
100% minimum 3, not 1 slice. I don't order pizza. You have 1 slice. Then I'm like, what the hell, man? You're not full. You eat more of this pizza. I'm not eating this pizza by myself. You told me to get it. So when he only ate 1 wing, I went, oh, okay.
That's a bad one.
I'm learning a lot more about this Johnny Boy fella. Unbelievable. Terrible.
Listen, you learn a lot about people on trips.
Yeah, apparently.
I mean, your burger cutting thing it makes me think of that Seinfeld when Mr. Pitt and then everybody started eating their Snickers with a knife and fork. That was hilarious. They were cutting up their Snickers on Seinfeld, and then George started doing it, and then the Yankee front office people started doing it.
The Snickers bar with the fork and knife.
Somebody jumped in there. Oh, there you go. Somebody was thinking the same thing as me, Mr. Pitt using the fork and knife, and then George started doing it with the fork and knife. It was Mr. Pitt that started that. It wasn't George, but George extended it, and then the guys in the Yankees like, what are you doing over there? He's like, I'm eating my dessert. What's your problem?
Yeah, right. And then he starts a wave.
But back to the trip thing. So you learn a lot about people on trips.
Yes.
And I haven't gone on a lot of trips with my old partner Bud Poliquin, but I have gone on a couple. And one of the trips I went on with him, again, another little quick funny side story. Bud, we're sharing a room. We have separate beds. We're in the same room. All right. The first thing, I've told you this story before. The first thing is, first night, we're in the hotel room. I think it was actually at the Meadowlands. We were down for an event at the Meadowlands. Okay. And Bud says, yeah, I got this thing. I just want to make you aware of it. And I'm like,
oh, yeah, I know this story. Yeah.
What? He's like, I just got to do a thing. I was like, all right, it doesn't involve removing your clothes or anything, right? I mean, you just put a robe on or whatever the hell you got to do over there. No, it's like, it's got nothing to do with that. He says, in order to sleep, I kind of use this thing. So I hope it doesn't bother you. Right. And then I'm like, all right, whatever, sure, and then he rolls over, pulls out this box, he plugs it into the wall, puts it up on the nightstand, and then hits a button, and it's like, it was a white noise machine, okay? And he needs to listen to white noise in order to fall asleep. So now the entire night, I'm just a bed away. I'm listening to this white noise. I'm like, oh, God, shut this thing off, right? I'm trying to figure out how the hell I'm going to get to sleep. Finally, I think out of just sheer exhaustion after being up for like 2.5 hours, I dealt with his white noise machine and finally fell asleep, all right? Then we get up in the morning. He's first to get up, and he gets in the bathroom right away. Now I just get up and just get in the shower and get ready to go, but he was already in there, so I had to wait for him. And he's got I hear the shower running. The door it's pitched open a little bit. And, and you're in a small hotel, the bathroom's right there. So I don't know, I was going in that direction in drawers or wherever I had my clothes to start pulling my stuff out to shower next.
And I kind of, look around the corner, not looking, he's behind a curtain and everything, but I kind of peek towards the bathroom and I notice the light isn't on. And I'm like, so now I'm like, move a little further. I'm like, it's pitch black in the bathroom. He's in there taking a shower in the dark. Okay. I mean, it's an interior room, there's no windows, there's no skylight. I mean, it's black. It's pitch black in the bathroom. And so I'm kind of like just shaking my head, scratching my head. First it's white noise. Now it's this. And I wait till he, hear him turn off the water. He's got his towel wrapped around him. And I was like, quick question. What's with the no lights? What the heck are you doing in there? Right. Mm-hmm. He says, I always shower without the lights on. I'm like, and the reason why is you don't like to see yourself? Are you, is this body shaming? Like, what the hell's going on? He goes, oh, no, scientific fact. So what is it? He says, yeah, when you keep the lights off in the bathroom when you're showering, the windows don't fog up as much. And then he says, John, and I'm standing there like, are you bleeping kidding me? It's goddamn water vapor. You think the lights being on make the windows fog up more, the mirrors fog up more. So you keep the lights off and you shower in the dark so that the amount of fog that's on the mirrors is less when you get out of the shower. I'm like, that is the most twisted, weird thing. So like I said, you just learn weird things about people on road trips, and Bud has a lot of idiosyncrasies. And I learned that in that one simple trip. I was like, you've got to be kidding me. So man. So wow, you ain't seen nothing with Johnny Boy. I mean, that's hardly a thing. Go on a trip with Bud, man.
Jesus,
good some crazy stuff.
Unbelievable. Well, the other thing we'll have is we have Jake Asman coming up in about 15 minutes. So, folks, that'll be a pre-recorded conversation. We'll upload that very shortly after. And there's some Jets news that actually just broke. So I'm happy for that. So that will likely lead our conversation coming up here in 15 minutes with Jake Asman. The Jets have exercised the fifth-year option of Will McDonald's contract, which is an interesting debate to have, whether it was a good decision, bad decision, just under $14 million. So a good thing to lead off with Jake, and we'll talk draft and everything else in between with him there.
All right, so one more story before we go out. Johnny Boy has chimed back in and he says, laughing my, Lurch, ask Boy Green about the night conversation where he wanted to tell me to shut up.
That's true. Yeah. So, okay, here's one more story.
What was going on here? This is a little bedtime story between you two guys. What was going on
there? Yeah, that's right. So, you're at the draft and there's a lot of hoopla that goes on. You're at the draft. You're there. We owe Lou B a debt of gratitude because he was the one who helped us get there in a lot of respects. McFadden's, he helped with Jake's party. So we had to go to Jake's after the draft, Jake Asman's party at McFadden's to collect stuff. And then I have to drop off Lou B at his hotel. I got to go to our hotel. There's a lot of hoopla. So long story short, we're not in bed till like 2:30 or 3 in the morning. And I do Boy Green Daily 3 hours after that. So, it is what it is. I've committed to doing this bit. So anywho, we do everything we have to do. I drop off the people. Where I have to drop off the people. Me and Johnny Boy are staying in the same hotel room, 2 beds, by the way, just to clarify that. And we're in the hotel room, and I am ready for a nap, let alone sleep, because I'm not going to have time to sleep. I'm going to only have time to nap. So I get in bed. Johnny Boy gets in bed, and I'm ready to close my eyes and go to Never Land. And then Johnny Boy starts talking, and I'm like, not just talking to himself, talking to me, asking me penetrating draft questions about what the Jets should do tomorrow and all these other things. And in my head, I'm like, dude, what in the hell? Shut up. I am trying to sleep for 3 hours. I've got to do a Boy Green Daily in 2 hours, man. Shut the hell up.
I got to be coherent here. Yeah.
That's in my head. So I'm trying to subtly, like, he's asking me penetrating questions about my life, and I'm trying to give him very short, subtle answers. Like, yep, that's enough of that, buddy, because I'm not rude. I'm just trying to gently push him in a different direction.
I think we're handling that well.
And then interrogate, question. I'm like, and I just say, yeah, I'm going to head to bed now. and he say,
Johnny, you're going to roll over now and go to sleep.
Yeah. Like, I just had to be very blunt and say, hey man, I'm going to actually sleep now that we're in the pitch black laying in bed. Yeah,
Oh,
this is where I'm going to go to sleep. So if I just stop responding to you, it's because I'm asleep or I'm ignoring you. So like let's call it there. So, but in my head, I'm like, shut up. Jesus, can't you see it's 2:30 in the morning, man? Like, good Lord have mercy. Like, come on. I got to do a show in 3
Your mind was
hours.
screaming. You were much cool.
Yeah,
calm.
I was like this, but in my head, shut up, have a can of shut up with extra shut up sauce. Hold the shut up and put some more shut up on it. Good Lord, shut your pie hole, man. Good Lord. I mean, geez, Johnny boy, good Lord, man, unbelievable. And I did say that as well. That's another part of the story real quick here. It's so like, we're getting ready for bed. I dropped everyone off and I'm shutting off lights and do all this stuff. And I'm muttering to myself. I'm not talking to anyone. I'm like, oh, great idea, Paul. Boy Green Daily every friggin' day, 7:30 in the morning. Wow, what a genius you are. And I'm just muttering to myself as I get in bed. Oh, I can't wait for this show. Oh, I'm going to nap for 2 hours and get up to do Boy Green Daily. Woohoo, Boy Green. So I just hear Johnny laughing to himself like, what a freak. Like, good Lord. Like, he's committed to the show and and I just was like, oh, man, if I got hit by a bus, who would be doing Boy Green Daylight tomorrow? Yeah. So, yes, I did mutter to myself. I did lose it for a little bit. I did. I'm not going to lie. But, once I'm up, for me, whether I sleep for 30 minutes or 12 hours, once I'm up, I splash water in my face, I'm good. I've got energy and everything forever. But then I just eventually, a few days later, have to catch up on it. So, yeah, that did happen. Yeah.
All right. Very cool. You're doing a baseball game tomorrow night at the station? You down
I am. Yes. So Thursday, Friday, Saturday, the next couple of nights. Yeah.
I'll be. I'm bringing my students out tomorrow night to the ball game.
Oh,
here.
Great! So I'll be behind the scenes. Yes.
So yep, my group of students, my sports broadcasters will be out there making tape for play-by-play.
Excellent.
So
great.
It'll be a blast. Supposed to be a little chilly. Only like a high in the mid 50s kind of. And then at night, probably in the 40s. Yeah. It's a night game. So it'll probably be like high 40s, mid 40s while they're working. So that'll be fun. That'll be fun. Look for me. I'll be the guy, wearing the winter parka and the ski hat.
Yeah, right. There you go. Nice.
On the 40, and I just pull the gear right back out again and just pull it down over my head and get going. So. All right, fantastic. Well, good show today, as always. And thanks to Matt Lombardo again for joining us and giving us his insider stuff. Again, the new raffle is underway. You see the tote board below. Number one Austrian Jet fan already making that tote board heavy. And we have added him to the list of leaders. Again, $3 gets you one raffle ticket. If you're not a member, you become a member, 2 raffle tickets automatically. If you buy memberships, you'll get 2 per. And if you buy 5 or more, you get a double. Instead of getting 10, you get 20, as Austria did in the show earlier today. So he's in the running. And if you are a higher level member of our channel, you get automatic tickets each month, as are Jamie the FedEx guy and Zay Engineer. Both of them are already in the lottery without donating anything else to the channel. Just by staying a member for another month, get 20 raffle tickets. And again, the prizes, the 2 Jim Boeheim life-sized posters. Here's number 1 right there. Here is number 2 right there. This one is actually autographed. You can't see it in the picture, but it is indeed autographed. It was autographed to my partner, Bud Poliquin, years ago by Jim Boeheim. They're both about 6 feet by 4 feet. 6 feet high by about 4 feet wide. So these are huge posters that go on the wall, almost, as we say in the scrolling ticker there, life-sized posters of Jim Boeheim. And then also this laser-engraved pint glass. So that'll be this month's prizes. The 2 posters and the pint glass going to someone across America who dares to get in this raffle, and their name will get drawn again on the 22nd of May. We always do our drawings on the 22nd. So you can keep entering for tickets until we get till then. All right. Thanks, everybody, again for watching. We do appreciate it. Survivor tonight again, live show, 2-hour episode. So expect us around 10:10, 10:15. Brett LaBelle should be back in the fold, sans his laryngitis. And Jake Asman, we're about to interview him in a few minutes. As soon as we finish up that interview, we'll get it out to you. So you can expect that interview out at around 1:45, 2 o'clock today. All the latest and the greatest on his grade for the Jets draft, and some other news and notes. As Boy Green said, we got some breaking news on the Jets that we'll address with Jake as well. So that's all coming your way. Boy Green, final thoughts if you have any.
No, just appreciate everyone that tuned into, because I know eventually we're going to turn the page and we won't be talking much NFL draft anymore outside of whatever random stories come up. So appreciate everyone following along on the journey for the YouTube shorts here on the MC Show digital channel or the Boy Green channel. It was a lot of fun to do, bucket list kind of item. Some people will, what I did this past weekend, some people will never do in their entire lives. So I am very lucky and humbled that I got a chance to do it. And but the show's not going away. We got plenty of more coverage coming up. Jets, Giants, Bills, draft, Survivor, everything else for many, many more months to come, which we're really excited about as we close in on 1,000 subscribers and our 1-year anniversary here in a matter of months.
Yeah, help get us there, folks. Tell your friends. If you're not already a subscriber, it's absolutely free. Just click the subscribe button on your way out of the room. Thanks again for everybody tuning in. Always appreciate the comments. Great comments from everybody across the board. So thank you for doing that. And we will see you hopefully for Survivor Live tonight. Jake Asman coming in just a little bit. Take care, everybody. Peace out.